Hi, my name is Alex Ditch, and I'm here with my best friend John Rodriguez, who's going to tell us about his aunt living in the confines of his basement for the past 5 years now. So John, why don't you tell us a little bit what that's like?
Well, first off, Alex, I'd just like to say thank you, and it's good to be here. Well, it all started off about like 5, almost 6 years ago with my aunt living in Arizona. She used to work in construction, and she's also known for her foul mouth, and she also is really rude to people. And one day she just decided that she was going to backtalk her boss in a way that was not appropriate, and she ended up getting fired, which is a big surprise. And in the end, she ended up losing almost everything except for her dog, which she brought along with her to our house because she had nowhere to stay. And it just went on from there and just started ruining our lives because my grandma just said, yes, why don't you come on over? And that's how the whole thing started out. And now it's just a big sloping hill down to nothing.
What has life been like living with your grandmother? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've always lived with my grandma, actually I've lived with her for my entire life, 17 years. And also with my mom too, since I don't have a dad, but I've always managed to cope with it, and everything was just fine. And then all of a sudden she had to step through our door, and now everything is not what it used to be.
And what's your aunt like?
Well, all I can say is I'd rather jump out of a window than have to deal with her every day.
Jumping out of a window, then, that seems a little bit on the extreme side, don't you think?
Well, if you've lived with her for 5 years, then you would know what I'm talking about. At first, I didn't really mind her. I thought she was a fun person. She would always make jokes and just be like the life of the party or whatever. But now, it's getting old, and she's getting fatter because she does nothing but sit downstairs and watch TV and eat all night long. And she's what I like to call our hobo in the basement.
Have you had any relief from her in 5 years?
The only long-term relief that I've had was going to Germany on an exchange program with our school, which was extremely liberating, and it was a really great experience until when I had to come back and see her ugly face again, which just turned my life back into a nightmare.
Now, Germany, that sounds interesting. Not a whole lot of people can actually go out of the country. What was that like?
It was a really great experience, and it was an eye-opener, especially like seeing different culture, how things are different from the United States, and just getting involved with a second language. It's just really fascinating, and just seeing that people in other countries are just like us. Just because they speak a different language doesn't mean that they're different, but the cultural differences are just amazing.
So that must have been fun, and I understand that some plane trips across country can be annoying. How long was the plane trip for that?
That one lasted about 10 hours, unless you don't count the layovers, which lasted over 3 hours, but other than that, it was just a smooth trip there.
That sounds exciting. Now, you mentioned before you had your grandmother or aunt brought a dog with her. What's that like?
Well, all I can say is, for him being at least 6 years old, he is the biggest baby I've ever seen. It's pathetic the way she treats him. She babies the crap out of him. If he doesn't even know how to feed himself, he doesn't know how to play like a normal dog. He can't even go to the bathroom without her standing there. You could stick a bowl of dog food down or a bowl of water down. He wouldn't know what to do with it because she takes like these Beneful containers and she'll like stick her hand in there and she'll shove that in his mouth. Or like the dumbest thing she does, this one makes me want to throw up. She'll take a can of spray cheese, shove it in his mouth, and then she'll pull the little knob at the top and just spray cheese into his mouth. It is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. If you were to see this, I swear, either you probably wouldn't know what to do. You'd either laugh or you just want to throw up.
Now, I'd hope that after finding out about this, You don't exactly use spray cheese on any food after that, do you?
No, I'd never use that disgusting stuff anyway, but apparently the dog likes it, or maybe not, I don't know, because she just likes to shove that in his mouth and just spray the can until it's basically empty.
Now, see, I have this picture in my mind of your aunt taking a spray cheese container and put it in the dog's mouth and just spraying, and the dog puffing up like a big balloon. What kind of dog is he?
Well, that little image you have in your mind is exactly what he does. He's a mixture between a golden retriever and like a chow, but she keeps saying that he's like something else because she doesn't want to accept the fact that if she moves out, then she has to put her dog into some either a kennel or get rid of it, or I don't know what she's expecting because she's been looking for places to live, supposedly, and in some places they say chows aren't allowed, and she'll use that as an excuse just to stay at our house because she doesn't want to leave, because she doesn't have to pay for much of anything, and she's just basically taking advantage of us. And she barely pays for anything. She doesn't even pay for the DirecTV that she wastes, that my mom pays for. She only pays like what, maybe $25. My mom has to pay $75. I mean, my mom is paying way more than she has to.
On a day-to-day basis, what is life with her like?
It's absolute hell. I can't do anything really. I'm confined to my room. My grandma's confined to the upstairs only. She can't really go downstairs and do what she wanted to do. My mom can't do anything either. She's also on my side with this. She really wants to see her go, but we've tried talking to my grandma since my grandma's the owner of the house, but she said, well, what are we going to do? She has nowhere to go. I mean, I obviously don't care. She can go live under a freaking bridge for all I care. Just get her out of my house.
Now, have you tried any ways of getting rid of her?
Oh, yeah. I've tried all sorts of things. I've gone online. I've looked up ways to get rid of uninvited guests or people that have definitely overstayed their welcome. And it turned out that in the end it's all futile. It never works. But I've just given up on it. I'm just hoping that maybe in the future she'll just find a way to leave, or maybe I can just get my own house and I won't have to look at her ugly face.
Well, I understand that there are most likely going to be some people within the United States or other countries that are going through the same problems as you. Do you have any advice for someone who is new to this?
Yes, if somebody that you know, either a family member or a friend or whoever desperately needs a place to stay, wants to stay with you and they say, I'm only going to stay for this long until, and maybe in that time I'll find a place to live, you better make that the limit and keep it at that limit. You do not give them even just an inch or even just maybe like a minute more of that time for them to find a place. As soon as that time runs out, you kick them out, because if you don't, then they're just going to end up being another hobo in your basement, adding on to what my aunt is.
That sounds very interesting. Now, we're going to have to wrap this up, but thank you for your time, and are there any closing statements you'd like to say?
Yeah, if there's anyone out there who has any advice or has even the power to get rid of her, get her out of my house, I'd really appreciate it. I just can't take it. I don't even know if I can even last up until the time where I can buy my own house. I'm just like looking forward to that day. I'm praying to God every day that she'll just leave, because I'm sick of her, like always thinking that she owns the house. She's always making fun of my dog, or she's yelling at my dog or something like that, which also makes me extremely angry, since my dog's lived there longer than she has. But whatever.
Well, thank you, John. And again, that is John Rodriguez. I am Alex Ditch with the Standley High School Podcast, and thank you.